To mark the 200th anniversary of the founding of the town of Greece, the Greece Historical Society presents a Bicentennial Snapshot. Each week, we take a look at a particular aspect of Greece history. This week, we look at Ridge Road. On June 1, 1797, Eli Granger, entrepreneur of King's Landing, after returning from a trip to Niagara Falls, wrote in his diary, "Came home on a handsome ridge suitable for a road." Even today, many of us refer to that road as simply the Ridge. Almost 13,000 years ago, a large glacial lake, Lake Iroquois, as it is called by geologists, lapped the far eastern portion of what became the Niagara Escarpment. When the waters of Lake Iroquois receded, it left a ridge of land more than 400 feet above sea level. You can see on this map the dimensions of the prehistoric lake in relation to Lake Ontario. The line in red is a portion of Ridge Road from Genesee River to Lewiston. The ridge had long been a trail used by the indigenous people of the area. It was about 15 inches wide. Initially, the earliest residents of Greece would also have used it as a footpath. As late as 1811, Ridge Road was but a pathway cut through the woods, wide enough only for a single wagon to pass. During the war years of 1812 through 1815, it was an important route over which troops and supplies moved. In the town's earliest days, the ridge played a prominent part in the daily lives of Greece residents. It was the location of most of the early dwellings. In 1813, New York State appropriated $5,000 for construction work. Trees were cut down and streams bridged. To this day, it is the main commercial thoroughfare of the town. But even before that, sometime between 1801 and 1804, Asa Rowe opened a tavern on Ridge Road, where the old St. John the Evangelist Roman Catholic Church stands. For a long time, it was one of the only two buildings between the Genesee River and Lewiston. Asa Rowe anticipated that the ridge would be a major thoroughfare. The Rowe Tavern, like many taverns of the day, served a number of important functions. It was a public meeting place, a place where official town business could be conducted, a post office, a banking establishment, a dry goods store and trading post, a lending library, and a place of worship until churches were built. In 1816, stagecoach travel commenced. At the start, one 4-horse coach carried passengers along the route, but demand for travel soon increased so greatly that several other coaches had to be added, and after 1817, for several years the coaches were so numerous that some one of them was always in sight at every mile on the ridge. More hostels and taverns opened along the route. Tavern keepers along the ridge recognized the need for providing accommodations to travelers and posts where tired horses could be exchanged for fresh ones. Travelers often stopped for the night at one of the 2-story taverns along the ridge, such as the Stone Tavern, located at Dewey Avenue and Ridge Road. The ladies and children slept on beds comprised of cord strings and oat straw ticks or mattresses in the bedrooms on the second floor, while the men were relegated to a common room on the first floor. They took turns washing in the basin provided by the tavern keeper, using water from the rain barrel outside the back door. The towels were changed once a week. For meals, the tavern keepers would serve fish caught in a nearby stream, venison, bear steaks, or wild pigeon pot pies. Even though it was eventually superseded first by the Erie Canal and then by the railroad, stagecoach travel continued to be a mode of transportation for decades. Here is a loaded passenger coach in the 1860s. As many as 12 people might be stuffed inside the coach, but that was perhaps better than having to ride outside and be subjected to all kinds of weather. Equally important as the taverns and hotels to the commercial welfare of the community were the general stores. A number of them were established along the ridge. They often sprung up near small enclaves of residents. Here we have Anderson General Store, located at the southeast corner of Ridge Road and Mitchell Road. At the far eastern end of the ridge at Lake Avenue was Gilbert Wagg's Emporium. The area became known as Wagg's Corner. We'll go into more detail about these 2 stores and others in a future episode. In 1826, Asa Rowe established the first nursery business in Monroe County when he opened the Monroe Garden and Nursery on the north side of Ridge Road, near today where Mitchell, Long Pond, and Ridge Roads intersect. He offered a large selection of fruit and ornamental trees, shrubs, herbaceous plants, bulbous roots, and greenhouse plants. The opening of the Erie Canal made transportation fast and cheap, and his nursery business thrived. Both the nursery business and the canal will be featured in upcoming snapshots. By the middle of the 19th century, Ridge Road was lined with prosperous flower farms, greenhouses, orchards, vegetable gardens, and stock farms. It was also graced with lovely mansions, such as this home of David Todd, or the Upton home. Both of these structures stand today. The Todd Casey Craig House is on Ridge Road opposite North Avenue, and the Upton home is Ridgemont Country Club. In 1890, George Eastman decided that 16.5 acres of farmland in Greece, out in the country where there was fresh air, plenty of clean water, and railroad terminals, was ideal for his new filmmaking plant. He constructed it on the corner of Ridge and Lake Avenue. The town of Greece would never be the same, but that's a tale for another episode. Thanks for joining us this week. Next time, we'll continue with our story of the Ridge, covering its 2nd century in the history of Greece. This is Maureen Whalen, inviting you to join us next Tuesday for another Bicentennial Snapshot, presented by the Greece Historical Society.
Want to learn more from the Greece Historical Society and Museum? Then click that subscribe button for more content and hit that bell icon to get notified when there's more Bicentennial Snapshots. You can visit us on the web at GreeceHistoricalSociety.org. You can find us on Facebook at Greece Historical Society. You can follow us on Twitter at GreeceNYHistory, and you can stop in at the Greece Historical Society at 595 Long Pond Road.